Hi guys, my name is Becky and I am one half of the Sorry Girls, and today I'm going to teach you how to patch holes in drywall. So we have all been there before. Either we're renting and now moving out, or we opened a door too forcefully and now there is a hole in the drywall. Don't worry, I'm here to help. Let's start with how to patch a small hole. This might be the type of hole that would come from a nail, a screw, a drywall plug. So to patch it, we are going to need a putty knife, some sandpaper, and some spackle. So let's put on our safety glasses and a mask and get to work. Start by scraping away any loose debris from around the hole. You can use your drywall knife or sandpaper to do this. Next, apply your spackle over the hole. Try to feather out the spackle rather than a solid blob on the wall. Also, use a wider radius of drywall spackle than you think you might need to allow for easier blending in. Let it dry completely. We like using this pink spackle. It turns completely white once it's finished drying. After it's dried, you can add more spackle until everything is filled. The more light coats you can do with sanding in between is actually much easier and faster than doing one large deep coat. Once it's fully dry, go ahead and sand everything smooth. Next, let's move on to filling something a little bit bigger. So for this, you're going to need drywall tape, also known as mesh tape, your putty knife, sandpaper, and your spackle as well. You can usually find all of these things together in a small hole patch repair kit at the hardware store. Start by scraping away any loose debris from the hole like we did the first time. Next, place your mesh tape over the hole. Then use a putty knife to cover the tape with spackle. It helps to use a crisscross pattern when applying the spackle. Use the putty knife to make the edges as thin as possible so that it blends into the wall. Let it dry completely and add another coat if you can still see the imperfections of the wall or the tape showing through. Let it dry completely and sand it smooth. So this last hole is going to be a little bit too big for the mesh tape alone. So to fix this, we are going to need a drill, a ruler, the mesh tape, a putty knife, a pencil, a drywall saw, some drywall screws, some scrap pieces of wood, a utility knife, some drywall compound, and a piece of drywall. We're going to be using drywall compound for this instead of the pink spackle because it is less expensive and easier to sand, and it's just better for larger projects like this. Okay, so let's take a look at this hole. The first step is to cut a piece of drywall that is a little bit bigger than the hole we want to patch. Okay, ready?
Yep.
Next, we go back to the wall, hold our new cut piece of drywall up over the hole, and mark around the small piece of drywall we've cut. Next, grab your drywall saw and cut the drywall around your hole. Once cut, go ahead and pull out all of that extra drywall. Next, grab your scrap pieces of wood. Try and make sure they are as flat as possible. They should be long enough to fit over the width of the newly cut hole with plenty of overhang. Go ahead and put your scrap wood behind the hole and drill it into place using a couple of drywall screws on the top and bottom of the wood. Next, place your patch piece of drywall over the hole and against your scrap wood. Use your drywall screws to secure the patch drywall to the wood strips. Grab your mesh tape and tape along all 4 seams of your new piece of drywall. And the final step is to cover this guy with the drywall compound using the techniques we talked about earlier. Use your drywall knife to spread the compound over the entire area. Remember to work in thin layers and build up the compound until you can't see the tape or the hole anymore. And once everything is fully dry, make sure to give it a really good sand. And a helpful tip is to make sure to put on some primer before adding your wall paint to make sure everything goes on evenly. And that's it. It's seriously so easy to do and can almost be a little bit relaxing in the end. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on more helpful DIY tips and tricks. Bye! Start by scraping away. Now you will. We are going to be using drywall compound for this instead of the pink spackle because it is good, trust me. Okay.
Wow, it's beautiful. Let's do it again.